I'm having my greatest crash out of my life, and I need you all to sit here, and you're going to be like, why are we talking about Edgar Allan Poe? And I'm going to tell you why we're talking about Edgar Allan Poe. I was sitting in class last week, and my professor brings up Edgar Allan Poe. At the end of the discussion, he brings up a Eureka prose poem, and he says that it's like a write-off, like nobody looks at it because he was like a little woo-woo crazy. I type it in, and I open the page, and I didn't even have to read it, and I knew that Edgar Allan Poe knew, and that was what was written down on that fucking page. Peyton, why is this important? Oh, I'll tell you why this is important, because it aligns beautifully. When I say beautifully, I mean beautifully with the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of Thomas, and I will tell you at the end why that is so important. He presented a cosmological theory that anticipated the Big Bang before the Big Bang was even discovered by science. It was discovered 70 years later after Edgar Allan Poe wrote this. Why is that important? Because he talked about a primordial particle that expanded into a universe of stars and matter, theorizing that everything comes back to source, to one. He says here, as I am of the irretrievably bygone fact that all things and all thoughts of things with all the ineffable multiplicity of relations sprang at once into being from the primordial and irrelative one. Let not the merely seeming irreverence of this idea frighten our souls from the cool exercise of consciousness, from that deep tranquility of self-inspection through which alone we can hope to attain the presence of this, the most sublime of truths, and look it leisurely in the face. Line 49 from the Gospel of Thomas, for you have come from it and you will return to it again. Line 2, those who seek should not stop seeking until they find, and when they find, they will be disturbed. When they are disturbed, they will marvel and will rule over all. Mary, all nature, all formations, all creations exist in and with one another, and they will be resolved again into their own roots. For the nature of matter is resolved into the roots of its own nature. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Why is this important? The Book of Mary and the Book of Thomas were written in 2nd and 3rd century CE, but they were not published to the world until around 1955. When did Edgar Allan Poe write this? In 1848. He wrote what they knew. The people that walked with Jesus knew. He called it his magnum opus. If you don't know what that means, it is the greatest writing a writer could put out, and nobody knows about it, nobody talks about it, and if they do, they write it off. You write it off, you write it off. But what's so interesting is, how does this man from 1848 write the same exact thing from the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Mary that was written thousands of years ago? How does that get written off? Tell me. But not only that, you guys, how